Welcome to another edition of Cranky Gun Reviews. This is a follow-up video on my Ruger Mark pistol. Well, kind of. You see, when I was in the store the other day and I was looking for the Mark III, I was also looking for a Ruger Standard. And the standards that I saw at one shop were really in poor condition. One was all scratched up. One of them, all the bluing on the top of the gun was worn off. And they were both from the 1950s, and they just weren't really what I was looking for. So I decided while I was there, I really want a Ruger Standard. I'm going to do a little searching around. And again, I mentioned in the last video, I don't really like buying stuff online because after shipping and after transfer fees to get it transferred into my name, it typically costs me close to $75 to $100 to get any handgun or rifle transferred through a local shop and then transferred into my name. So I don't usually try to buy online. What I do try to do is go online and look at all my local shops and try to find something that I'm looking for at a local shop. And I'm usually pretty successful with that. So after the last video, when I bought the Ruger Mark II, I kept looking and kept looking and kept looking. And this guy popped up at another local shop for a relatively good price. And I just had to have it. So what is this? This is a 1973 or 1974 Ruger Mark I pistol. Again, in the last video, I thought, actually it's not a Mark I. It's a Ruger Standard. I thought it was a Mark I, as I talked about in the last video. The only difference between the Mark Is and the Standards was that the Mark Is had a little bit longer barrel. I think this is like a 5.5-inch barrel. The other ones were either 6.5 or 8 or 7, I can't remember. And they also had adjustable rear sights. This particular pistol is a Ruger Standard model. Now, when I went to the shop to pick this one up, the salesman had to go get it out back. And when he pulled it out, I was looking it over, and I really wanted this one because it has wood grips on it. This shop actually had two Ruger Standards in stock as well. The other one they had the original plastic grips. It did not come with a magazine. That one had a bunch of rust over here on the frame or on the barrel where the frame met it. And it was the same price as this one. So this one, the more I looked at it, I realized it was in pretty good shape. There was a little bit of rust down here on the heel, and you can tell there's one like little nick in the metal on this. I don't know how well that's going to come across in the camera. You can kind of see it there. So right here on the bottom, there was some rust. There was some rust on the back of the bolt face. But overall, this pistol was in great shape. Came with one magazine, which is really difficult to get out. I think the button on this is actually too big. It kind of wiggles around, and it stands proud of the magazine pretty far. The other thing about this one is the magazine, there's a bit of corrosion up here on the top. And again, kind of difficult to see, but a bunch of the bluing has been worn off, and there was some corrosion on this. But overall, the magazine's in decent shape, seems to be okay. So there was two different frames that came on the Ruger Standard pistols. There was an A54 frame, and if you take off the grips, there'll actually be a stamping over here underneath the frame. There was an A54 frame, and there was an A100 frame. The A54 frame was all the way up until, I think, 1971, somewhere around there. It might have been a little bit earlier than that. And then they went over to the A100 frame, which is the same lower frame as the Mark II pistols. So the nice thing about this is this actually takes Ruger Mark II pistols magazines and the newer standard magazines, because this has the A100 grip frame on it, which was a bonus for me, and I didn't realize it when I bought it, but I'm glad I bought the newer one because finding magazines for this is a little bit easier. So I talked to the guy about it, and I said, it doesn't come with anything else. There's no paperwork. There's no, original box. There's no other magazines. And he said, no, this was actually a police confiscation. So this local shop deals with the local police department. When the police confiscate guns, they hold them for a certain period of time. If nobody can claim them, or if they were confiscated because they came from a criminal or somebody who cannot keep guns, they usually either sell them at an auction or they bring them to a local shop, and the shop makes them an offer, and the money, I don't know what the police department does with the money, but they take the money and do something with it. So this was a police confiscation. Part of the reason why it didn't really come with anything, but it did come with this nice holster. This is like a 1970s Hunter brand holster. and it's pretty sweet. It's a 1100J space 56 Hunter magazine. I believe it was actually made for this gun, although I was thinking I could probably use this for my Ruger Wrangler as well, even though it's not specifically for a revolver. I think this strap would go around the trigger housing and it would probably be okay. So pretty nice holster. These you can still get used for 35 to 50 bucks on eBay all day long. So it's not like it's super special, but it's neat because it's from the 70s. It was probably purchased at the same time as this pistol. So again, this was another one I looked for quite a while. You could find some of them on Gunbroker for less than I bought this for, but they were like, 4 days away from the end of the auction, and then I still had to worry about shipping fees and everything else. This one cost me $400, and I am not disappointed at all with it. Again, going back to how much wear this has, you can tell there's barely any wear on this bolt whatsoever. So this gun was not shot very much. It was probably purchased, it was shot a few times, and it's probably been stored in that holster since the late 70s or early 80s. And it's the Ruger Standard Series, same frame as the Mark I, but like I said, the Mark I has the target sights on it. And this one, being that it has the wooden grips and the shape of the barrel and everything, again, reminds me of a German Luger or a Japanese Nambu, which is exactly what Bill Ruger designed these for. I like this specific one because it has the wood grips. They're phenomenal. They're beautiful wood. They're not even really worn out. There's like one little tiny wear mark right here on the grips, and more than likely that's just from being in the holster and rubbing the back of the snap or something. So the grips are in fantastic shape. I took the entire gun apart last night, cleaned it, degreased everything. Again, I had rust down here on the butt, and all of that came off just with a brass brush and some break-free CLP. The back of this bolt was starting to get a little bit rusty, and it all polished right off. The bluing on this gun is in great condition. There's one little tiny nick right here on the barrel, probably from it being dropped or something. And on the bottom of the barrel, when I took it out, there was some like diagonal scratch marks on it. No idea what they're from. It didn't go through the bluing, but they were, pretty significant scratch marks. But otherwise, it is a gorgeous Ruger standard pistol. And I'll put it here alongside my Mark III pistol so you can kind of see the differences between the two. Obviously, the Mark I has the black plastic grips on it. The standard has the wood grips on it. Overall, though, again, with the exception of the slide hold open, which is also the last shot hold open, the button release for the magazine on the Mark III, it's pretty much the same pistol. This one has a standard pencil barrel. This one has a bull barrel. And obviously the Mark III has better sights on it. They're adjustable rear sights. And the Ruger Standard has fixed rear sights on it. But if you want a great shoot little target pistol for a reasonable price, I mean, this is exactly what I paid for the Smith & Wesson Victory. I paid $400 for that one, but I bought it out of state. So again, I had to spend another $40 to get that thing transferred to me. This one I purchased in state, so usually the transfer fee is part of the cost. So that one, $400 total out the door. This one was $500 total out the door, and now I have two pistols. I don't need any more Mark Series pistols. I guess if I found a Mark II for a really good price, like $250 or $300, I would probably buy one. I haven't seen any Mark IIs around in that price range in a long time, which again is why these to me were such a good deal. In today's market, prices are all over the place. There's really no way to tell what the value of something is. It's all based on supply and demand, if it's available to you locally, if somebody's willing to pay a cost on it. Somebody's going to pay higher for something that they really want. It kind of screws with the rest of the market. And again, if I was patient and shopped around a lot longer, I'm sure I could have gotten these or something that was as nice for a little bit less money. But they were available. I had the money. I really wanted them. So they came home with me. So that's part 3 in my kind of teaser video series from things that I've purchased over the last several weeks, month or so. And I really cannot wait to take these out to the range and shoot them alongside my Smith & Wesson Victory and my 617. I'm just so happy to have them. And I do have one more video coming with something else that I purchased new. It's kind of been a really good couple of months for me when it comes to finding these. I was able to sell some stuff, get some money so I could put it back into my hobby. There's nothing better than being able to sell something from a hobby and put it right back into your hobby, or sell something from another hobby and put it back into your main hobby. I love firearms. I love shooting. It's just one of those passions I have. It's come out of me in the last 5 or 6 years. I've always loved guns as a kid. I never could have them as a kid because my mom was opposed to them. Now that I'm adult and I have a little bit of spendable income, not a whole lot, but I do have a little bit of spendable income now and then. So I try to purchase stuff that I like, that I've either wanted for a long time, or something that I see that really catches my eye that's a great price when I have a little money in my pocket. So there you have it, my Ruger Mark Series pistols, or standard, and my Mark III pistol. Thanks again for watching Cranky Gun Reviews. Have a great day. God bless America. Make sure you support your 2A rights. Get out there and plink, and have a great day.